Welcome back to Case Closed Anime Review, episode number 18. I was planning to do it yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to finish the season up. But today, yes, I did. This review of the 18th season of Case Closed, aka Detective Conan in Japan, which was changed due to legal reasons. I don't really know exactly why it was changed over here. I refer to it as Case Closed because that's what it's called here. Despite the fact, yes, it is referred to as Detective Conan over in Japan, I refer to it as Case Closed because that's the translated title of it. Now this season, I did a little thing about this basically when it comes to the length of the season. This is by far the second longest season of the entire series. You know how long the season is? This is 42 episodes. Though, according to another site I looked at, apparently the first 4 episodes are part of the previous season. Make it 38, which is so bizarre. But I use Wikipedia. That's a little more accurate when it comes to these particular seasons. Okay, the first 2 episodes are two-parter, and it's a canon episode. It's basically dealing with, well, it started out basically, I mentioned in the last review that the stuff they left hanging at the end of the previous season is wrapped up in this episode in the first 5 minutes, and then it's basically recounted to Harley via telephone, and that's it. Basically, the junior detective in Besaragawa, the Agasa, decides to go camping, like usually they do. Car breaks down because they run out of gas. So they go to this nice swanky mansion, though they want this one guy to give a lift, and this guy, guess how much of a jerk he is? It's not exactly like in one particular, not unlike one episode where it was completely obvious that this person would be the murder victim. This one, yes. And yeah, and then you see apparently his car explodes. Yeah, second time in the series where you have a character killed via explosion. Because normally characters are killed by via stabbing. Not much for shooting per se. Most of these characters are stabbed or strangled or knocked in the head. None of these characters are ever shot to death. Not really, no. It's particularly very bizarre. I mean, guns are frequently used in the whole series, and yet nobody's ever shot to death in the whole series. Yeah, it's particularly very bizarre. Yeah, no one's actually officially killed. Well, there's one character from the series, but as for one-shot characters, none are killed by gunshot bullets. Nope. This is by far the second time in the series someone's killed via a bomb. Though this time it's not in a room, they killed via a garage. And how is he killed? Well, apparently, burned up so much static electricity and him wearing a wool sweater that caused things to explode, and turns the person who killed him was his fiance. Yep, a particular suspect that was particularly very suspected, and of course the arson inspector comes back. This is by far his third appearance, I think second appearance in the series. Yeah, it was. I think it was his third appearance in the series, and yeah, the reason why because because he was involved because he couldn't bother to help her out when her brother died. Yep, that's basically the reason for it. Oh, and the season itself adapts from chapters 625 to 627, 635 to 637, 641 to 645, and 655 to 686. So yeah, starting with next season, basically 700 episodes. Now, this season had a good number of filler episodes. These episodes were filler. 527, 536, 539 to 541, 544, 547, 548, 553, 556, 562, and 565. Roughly 14 filler episodes. Yeah, the next one basically is a canon episode. Yeah, I don't remember much about this episode. Yeah, about stuff happening. I don't really remember about this one that much. I'm looking at it, but I'm trying to remember the episode, but it's been a while since I watched it. 527, which is Phil episode. Evil intent hidden behind a mask. Yeah, it's where somebody's dealing with a series of stuff happening at theater. Oh, by the way, yeah, murder happens to several times. Seems like, and this one's particularly weird. Almost any time that you have a murder happen at a theater, It's a filler episode. And this one, not exactly murder per se. This one is basically three lead actors trying to kill each other for various reasons. The older actor tries to kill one of the actors for having an affair with his daughter. The other one because, well, trying to kill him because, well, they try to kill each other. Turns out all their plots failed. Like, one was going to be stabbed, one was going to be poisoned, and the other one's going to be electrocuted. Yeah. Yeah, but Conan was in the final in the end. Might Silver Mystery. Yeah, and this one is basically Eerie inviting Conan and Rachel over to meet an all women's karate champion who has a boyfriend and he died. And it turns out, yep, she killed him for having an affair. Yep, that was simply put the main reasoning for killing him. Next is the truth behind urban legend, the Hammerman. Yeah, and it turns out the Hammerman was actually a woman. Yeah, and these women were assaulted, not killed per se, but assaulted. Yeah, it's basically a very odd case. Then we go to 532, and this is basically a two-parter that leads into a standalone episode. It leads into roughly two other episodes. It's basically four loosely connected episodes. Yeah. Yeah, first trying to find out who yeah. Richard Moore is hired by this blind rich lady to find out who saved her life when she was younger and who has the kill squad process back. Yeah, it's suspected as two guys. Turns out, nope, neither one of them basically is the guy who saved her. It turns out it was her younger butler, and she's roughly 42, and she looks great for her age. Oh yeah, and apparently she was the only person ever suspicious of Conan being Jimmy Kudo. Yeah, it's confirmed in this two-parter. Yeah. Oh, and how Ridgemore found out was a butler was that he has a small scar across his back. Yep. And this, of course, leads into finding out the origin of the superintendent's scar across his eye. Yeah. Matter of fact, his successor in the manga currently, he's also scarred as well. Excuse me. Now, how did the superintendent basically his face was sliced by a katana. Yep. While battling a serial killer. And it turns out that they did find the serial killer in the end. Yeah. And the whole thing, and I'm surprised they didn't call this, now, the particular serial killer killed people by putting marks of a compass. Like, one had a W, one had an S, and one had an E on it. I'm surprised they didn't call this the compass murders. Yeah, especially since the final one basically has Z across supposed to be an N. Yeah, and it turns out that, yeah, that the criminal psychologist who this spec was, yeah, he was the actual serial killer. And the guy who killed him was a copycat. Simple. And he was also the son of one of the victims. And this leads to something really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, where Takagi basically is off to bring him in for questioning, and he gets attacked by him, and he's shot, and he's taken to the hospital. And this is a great moment for the series. And this, of course, is referenced in the current season, where Takagi, despite the fact he survived, Saito basically is almost devastated by his near death, goes to see him, has a little private time with him, and of course, throughout this whole case, like, basically was teased basically many times that Takagi really wanted to kiss Saito. And at the end of this 4-part story, he does. Well, she kisses him while he's in bed. Yeah. And everybody's like shocked to see it's like everyone's like see, like I think it's like McGuire, Zagarcy, and the Detective Boys. The Detective Boys basically know, like the Junior Tech League knows about this, and she says like he says to the inspector like why we question him later? He's resting, and like okay, of course doesn't tell him that he's making out with Saito, something he's wanted to do. Yep. Of course, this is the first of like 2 times in the whole series they do in fact make out. Yep. But it's by far a great thing. It's a good development of their relationship. But even though it's not technically part of the Metropolitan Police love story serial, but it's loosely connected to it. Yep. The Secret of the Vanished Masterpiece. Yeah, this is basically something that, well, the thing with this is that there was this artist who's they really dying. He's staying in a house, and it turns out this house actually who's aunt who apparently lost her memories, and he's trying the best he could to restore this house. And there's this mortgage guy who apparently really wants to demolish his house so badly. As for particularly why, I mean, yeah, the house was sold, fine. But why does New Order want the place demolished? Never explained in the episode. Yep. And it turns out the guy had been basically taking his time to restore, like, the gardens of the place. Yeah, it turns out it wasn't a masterpiece. Basically restored in the garden how beautiful it is. And then, like, next day, like, after the aunt gets her memories back, day later, place is demolished. Yep. Because it's a filler episode, not that much comments, but it's a very good, well-written episode, and it's quite interesting. You have where the kids have been believed by 2 other guys. Next, we have a 2-part story involving the Kaito Kid. Yep. All involving a safe. Yeah, and how he gets the safe is quite unusual. Yeah, apparently, and get this, the reason, now here's the thing, he's able to get the safe because, well, Jill, that's the guy's name, he sort of in a way indirectly asked him to open the safe, and there's like no gold in it, whatever. Turns out it was like just some mementos in there. Now, he was not there to steal anything, oh no. He was there simply just to open the vault. As for what was in the vault, well, apparently, his dog Lupin was in the vault. As for, yeah, apparently he got actually left in the vault, so he's secretly feeding him while he's in the vault. Eventually, Kaito opened the vault, and bam. Yeah, it's by far the most unusual one, and oh yeah, the Kaito was disguised as a maid, of all things. Yes, a maid. hmm But it's by far a really good 2-parter. Yeah, and it seems to be just by sheer coincidence, like almost every time the Kaito showed up, like the inspector, the inspector from the show, yeah, he shows up too, along with Serena. I would say like every time he's shown up, except for 2 times. Actually, I think except 1 time I could think of where basically Serena has not made a physical appearance. Not even the inspector for a couple of these counters. Yep. Next we have the Harris the Foolish Person. Yep. And it's about 2 guys who basically, like 2 or 3 guys suspect of killing their dad. Yeah, and possibly with inheritance. And nope. And he's basically declining the money because apparently he has no money at all. Yeah, as they go from here, no idea. Next comes an episode that I was watching. I got so bored, I just had to skip over it. It was the day Richard Moore closes his business. Oh, it's yeah. When I read the description of this and watched the episodes of it, I got so bored. I just gave up with this 2-part and just skipped straight to the next one. Basically, it's a canon episode. Yeah, thank God for that. Disappearing Fish. This is sort of a loose follow-up to the episode where Agasa celebrated his 53rd birthday. Yeah, because remember the victim from that case who did survive? Yeah, one of the rare cases where a victim actually survived from being poisoned. Yep. And yeah, it turns out that with this case, a woman died at a rock of starvation, and it turns out that one of the guys basically killed her because of some comment she made, and apparently she had this prank putting on lipstick before she put on an oxygen mask. Yeah, so people can get lipstick on their face. So it turns out that because I knew about this case from the manga, and I knew exactly who the killer was. It was the guy who had a band in his face. Yeah, because he got a bar and brawl. So yeah, basically his lips. So all he did was simply move the band up a little bit to cover it up. That's basically all he did. Yep, that's basically what he did. It's particularly very far. But yeah, this is by far one of the few cases where, well, I actually know who the killer was right away. Next, you have the hand that plays in distance. Oh, plays distance. Yeah, this all about murder happens. One of the players is banned, and it turns out she left the former band. Apparently, the lead singer wasn't happy with it, so she killed her, stuffed her body in a drum case, and then put her in the room. Yeah, it was somewhat predictable that it was the lead singer because, well, he was no one there. So, yeah. Now comes a quite interesting one, which actually is something the whole thing of Saito. Yep, called A Witch in Ezra Fog, which also is the first appearance of Yamaro's grandmother. Yeah, how about this Silver Witch, this Rhodes? And it turns out the Silver Witch is actually Saito. And those mysterious sounds that the car makes, well, she has a thing for screaming. Yeah, apparently it's a very bad habit. I wonder if Takagi knows about this. And apparently Yumi suspected that she was the Silver Ghost. And apparently she painted her car red so she could easily find her car in the fog. Yeah, but it's a hilarious little two-parter. I'm surprised this was two-parter. I don't know why they couldn't just make this into an hour-long episode because there's no murder here. It's just finding out this mysterious witch. Yep. Yeah, it's somewhat of a nothing episode, but it's a good little episode for Saito. Next comes the 2 days with the Cobra, where Kona gets kidnapped. Yep. Yeah, all about, well, he gets kidnapped by a guy who kills the president of a company. It turns out, yep, yeah, he got killed by a gun that was a model gun made with real bullets. He was tricked by the actual killer for different reasons. I don't remember what it was, but it was an interesting little two-parter. Yeah. Next comes Evolving Sushi Mystery. Yeah, believe it or not, when I watch this, I watched One Punch Man after this, which also involved a scene at a revolving sushi restaurant. Yeah, just by sheer coincidence. Yep. This one involved the murder of a food critic who was not very popular at all. And it turns out the person who killed him was actually, I remember who it was. Who was the one who killed him? It was yeah, it was the guy who was sitting next to him because apparently he killed him because he made bad comments about his wife and his wife left him. Actually, I think his basically wife died. Next came the culprit is Genta's dad. Well, George. Yeah, and it turns out his dad looks almost nothing like George at all. Apparently, he's a lot beefier, while George's like overweight, and his dad is like basically a guy who's very muscle bound. And we've seen George's mother; she's slightly overweight. Like, okay, so Genta must get his weight thing from his mother, obviously. I'm not gonna judge this guy for marrying her at all, but I mean, I scratched my head. I thought maybe his father looked almost very similar to him, but nope. Yeah, they only know it's him because Genta pointed it out. Yeah, it's an interesting case involving a president who gets killed, and the reason why he got killed because one of the people who got and to get this, the contestants of it. Now, this is a particular contest Genta's dad gets involved in, and all the contestants all the same last name. Apparently, it's a popular name in Japan for Kenjima, so. Yep, so he finds out who was the one who attacked him at his home and killed his wife. They did find the killer, and of course, his dad beat the crap out of him for basically doing what he did. Yeah, it's an interesting little thing. Next comes the patrol in the interrogation room. This is, of course, a filler episode. Yep. Where it turns out both these guys both committed the murder. Though one guy actually did kind of kill him, the other one, of course, finished him off. And basically, yeah, it was quite unusual for this one. It's like kind of back and forth. Like one guy supposedly killed him, the other, of course, the other guy didn't. But yeah, he did kind of kill him in a way. So both these two guys who just got out of prison had to go back because, and get this, the reason why they killed him because the guy was a sleazebag. Yeah, the guy was a terrible person. Apparently extorted money from people for protection. Last time I checked, that's not how a parole officer works. They're supposed to basically keep watch over people who actually, well, get out of prison. Not extort money from their families. That is by far so stupid. Yeah, I'm glad this guy got killed. The guy had basically no reason to live. Next comes a two-part filler story. Yeah, believe it or not, this is a filler story. And this is by far the first in the series that Harley and Kaza basically show up in a filler story, mind you, involving a kidnapping, an attempted murder, and a theft. Yeah, it was all over a little girl who got kidnapped, who basically had to be forced to do this stuff. It was suspected it was her mother who was behind it, but nope. She had nothing to do with this at all. It turns out the person who was behind this whole mess was actually the museum director. He was behind all this. Okay. And because they kept extorting money from the museum, that's the reason why I did all this. But it was actually a very good little two-parter. And then we have, well, the fearful intersection. And this is all basically an accident. Yeah, it's not much to this episode all involving someone getting killed, but yeah. And then we have essentially put, you might think of this as a 5-parter. Yes, because the first episode is actually sort of a setup for this, 557. Kind of by Dangerous Pair. We have Anita and Professor Gao. Basically, Gao's car broke down, got a tow truck, got in the bus, and it turns out that he actually lost his wallet. So, locking up two detectives that Conan knows happily kept a ride, though they were suspicious because, and of course, one wore a sunglasses, and of course wore like a hood over his head. Yeah, and it turns out the reason why the other guy did, the male detective did it, yeah, it was, what was his name? It was, Yamato and Yuri. Yeah, these two. Yuri, who is basically his childhood friend. First was Kanchan, and he doesn't like being called that for some reason. Yeah, but he doesn't like it when he calls her that. She calls him that to his face. He doesn't mind if I can tell he doesn't mind him calling him that when he's talking to other people, but not to his face. I don't know why he doesn't like that. I mean, they're both childhood friends. A lot of the callers are that. Yeah. So yeah, these two, they're basically brought in to investigate a Red Wall murder. Yep. Over a woman who got killed a few years prior to the events of the series. Yep, at a mansion. It's a quite interesting little four-parter. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I actually really enjoyed it. Yeah, then we have a standalone episode involving kidnapping rainbow colors, where a president of a purse company gets kidnapped, and the whole thing is planned by him and his wife. Excuse me, and of course, the guy ends up dead, and the wife killed him because he basically made a deal with the counterfeit purse company in order for them to continue for some reason. She didn't like that at all, so she killed him by strangling him with rope. Yep. Basically got arrested for it, but nope. And then we have basically 3 more episodes. One is basically like Boys versus Burglar Gang. Yeah, this one involving the return of Jody. And of course, the anime debut of Scar Aki. Here's the thing about this guy. I'm not going to spoil who he is at this point. Not until we reach episode 702. When I get to that particular season, I think it's season 20. I think I won't spoil who this guy is until season 22. I suspect it's Aki, but it's not really him. But I won't spoil who it is. Yeah, Jody thinks it's him, but yeah, it's not really him at all. Also, this is James Black, her boss. This is his third to last appearance in the series. Yeah, because he appears like 2 more times after this, and that's it. At least Jody still frequently appears. Maybe her most recent appearance is actually just like last year. Yeah, at least she still appears in the manga. Unlike her boss, who basically stopped appearing after like one particular case. Yeah, but at least she still shows up. Doesn't do very much, but at least this one she kind of helped out. Yeah, they were able to take down two of the 5 bank robbers, not much problem. Of course, Jody basically kicked the other one unconscious. The other guy, who was expected as leader, turns out was like somebody else. They knocked him out by tripping over having him trip over toilet paper and having get a concussion. Yep, and he's out for a good period of time. Oh yeah, and these guys have a thing for having all the hostages getting their hands bound and their eyes taped up and their mouth taped up. I get why the mouth and hands, but why their like couldn't you just put like a blindfold? Why duct tape? Like I'm sure that really hurts having your eyes duct taped like that. Yeah, I'm sure it hurts once the thing gets finally removed. Yep, and apparently they did it themselves. They were able to find out who it is pretty quickly after, of course, the bomb went off. Yeah, it turns out these people were not here to like rob this bank. Nope, they were here to blow it up for some reason. Yeah, they caught the bank robbers, no problem. Like, oh, well, 4 of them anyways. The other guy, the other guy was still unconscious. Basically, the chubby guy, the first guy they got knocked out, he woke up via the explosion, which they had moved. I thought this was really ingenious. Yeah, the 5 kids. Okay, you have Conan and Mitch, basically going over to get the bombs, which are in these briefcases, and move over to this cart. You had, I think it was Anita to go get the cart, and you had George and Amy stand by the elevator. They pile the 2 briefcases on this cart, shove an elevator, close the door, and of course it blows up. And look enough, the elevator doors actually contain. Look enough, the elevator actually contained the explosion. But they were able to get in no problem, and the robbers got arrested. And yeah, it's a really good little 2-parter. Throws a hand with the Black Organization in this episode, but doesn't comment to anything at all. Yeah, the whole thing with the FBI being this 2-parter, it evolves to pretty much nothing. It just basically all Jody. James Black does virtually nothing in this 2-parter. Same thing with Android Carmel. He pops up at the beginning of this 2-parter, briefly for like a couple scenes, and then he shows up in the end, and that was it. Yep. Yeah, not much to this character at all. There's that. Yeah, it's an interesting little 2-parter, and doesn't amount much to anything, but it's a great little exciting little 2-parter. Now we have The Witness That Cannot Be Seen. And this all involved a barbershop owner getting killed by a customer. Yeah, and it turns out the reason why he killed him was because over money. Yep, money. The other 2 guys were suspected. Yeah, and he was able to try to weasel out because he had, well, they think he had the whole darts club shirt on, and it turns out he had it on backwards. Yep, he tells the guy, Takagi, remove his shirt. He's like, yes sir, and he rips up, bam. Yeah, he says, you think I'll fall for that childish trick? Yeah. But that's the episode. But overall, this was a pretty good season. Yeah, I would say the only episode that you can easily skip over because, well, unless you really want to watch it, is the episode Richard Moore Closes Business. I didn't care for the cases in this 2-parter. Yeah, I just felt bored. Like, really, really bored watching this 2-parter. There was also one episode in this season that kind of felt that the animation took a dip. Like, it looked pretty bad for like one scene and then basically got back to normal later on. Yep. But yeah, that's particularly it for this episode, the review. So next review will be a Comic Corner, and basically got 3 videos I'm going to do today: a Comic Corner, a movie review, and the review of the newest episode of Attack on Titan. Okay, but do you see you next week, which will be a Comic Corner. Do you see you there? Bye.